Okay, let's move on. Maybe before even taking things to InDesign, we can consider, things such as obviously placing some doors to access some particular spaces. If you don't find the doors that you want, I recommend that you skip that and then you go to insert and Autodesk families and search for potential doors that could relate to the project. So you can go to doors, scroll around, there are many of them. And this is the moment you could also download doors from the web. There are many different webs that allows you to get different families and download them for free. So the doors, I downloaded these ones and I'm going to place some of them different places. So why not? So you can access this particular place. There could be also some trees here. It could be a more conventional door as well. Or the door. And you can do some of those details as well here. So you can do windows. You have fixed windows or any other type of windows as well. You can also swap the windows if you want to do that. You can move them around as we talked about and do many other things as well. Maybe you can create also a couple of little trees there. And maybe another door here. Press space bar before putting it so you can control that. And then another situation here where you can place maybe a different type of door. And we'll just place several of those. And then just a simple door here on this side. Whoops. And a windows. Get larger, hopefully. You can place some of those different points, and you can also select one and CO copying it, so it's perfectly aligned, no? So also move those and be wherever you need them to be. So then you start creating some kind of level of detail and interest to the project. Okay, so I'm saving that. So we do have the InDesign file. Now we're doing this is Rhino. This is pretty much the exercise that we're going to be doing it in class. This is where I'm going to be focusing now is the scale material. I recommend these are vector-based. Well, I recommend they should be vector-based in your plan, so no raster-based set of drawings. That should be crispy and nice. So the first thing I will do is right-click on the levels or levels that you want to generate and duplicate with detailing, rename, and call that presentation. No? So you have one that you might be working and the other one might be the one that you're presenting. I'm asking that we hide the grids, that we hide also the elevation marks. So go with category. But I don't think the trees that are outside make sense to have here. We're dealing with a more of an interior proposal in this case. And I wouldn't do category because I do want the trees inside. I'm actually going to place a couple of them more here. Okay, so that's that. I'm going to clean it up in this presentation. I do not want any underlay. So I'm going to say none. So it's a little cleaner. The section marks, we're not going to have them drawn in Revit. We're going to do those in InDesign. So I'm going to say hide categories. It's very clean. We don't want the car. And it's very clean. Now also the filling of the wall should be done with the visibility graphics. So what we could do is go to one of the sections that has been done already. So this is one. I can right click and please create new template. Could be called something like presentation main document or something like that, so you know what is it. What that does is basically changes all the visibility graphic styles for the view. So then you can apply it easily to other drawings. You will right click and apply and search for the one we just did. So here's, I went to all presentation clean doc, say okay. And that should take the features that you work on the other ones. Unfortunately, it's bringing some of the elements that the sections they have. So I want to say I category those again because we don't want the views, the elevation marks, so on. So we want that very clean way and simple way. Don't think we need those like the people. Okay. That's it. That's a nice clean drawing. We also need to acknowledge what is the scale. So it's 1/8 of an inch. Right now I don't know how big or how small that is, so we're gonna have to check that out through a simple printing process. So the way we will do that is in the view. Remember this level 1 presentation and say file, print, Adobe PDF. And what we're going to do is select views, select, and we're going to select here the ones that we want. So we're dealing with 2D and we don't have any sheets. We'll talk about that in class. We want level 1 presentation. I'm going to take also the section presentation we did before. Both of those have black fields as I want them. Say select, and there they are. So there's obviously a number of settings that we need to take care of. If you save it, you can place it there. For now, I'm going to start letter. I'm not sure if that's the correct size, but we can change it in a second. I'm going to say center. The most important thing is that you do not have it bit to page is zoom 100, so it doesn't change the scale of that. Okay, I can do a center again and say okay. Now I'm going to say okay. It's going to say, well, you have 2 views. I'm going to say yes. It's going to create 2 PDFs that you can save them wherever you want them to be saved. So I'm going to say here, and I'm going to create a folder, and I'm going to say PDF files. It creates 1 PDF, and then it will ask me to create another one. And save it. Creates this PDF. And notice how, well, the section is not that bad in a sense. It kind of fits there, but it's clearly, it's an 1117. Sorry, 8.5 by 11 is clearly a very big drawing. So we need to take that to a lower scale. And the plan is huge, no, obviously. So let's close the PDFs. And what we could do is a technique. It's basically creating a sheet. Creating a sheet, new sheet. Maybe loading another title block that is closed. Let me close that. I'm going to go to insert, Autodesk family. I'm going to go back and I'm going to search for what is called title blocks. I'm going to select 1117. Oh, and 8.5 by 11, those two, load them. And that means that now we can create a couple of sheets here. We can say right click, new sheet, 8.5 by 11. Okay. And it creates this drawing. This is, default kind of a setting from out of this can the dimensions of this paper is 1117. The way you can test the size of a drawing is that you can drag a level into it. Now I drag right now, I'm gonna escape level 1. I should drag level 1 presentation. It takes a little bit. There. So it's pretty much how it looks now. We can go, well, I'm gonna clean all the views, so I only have one. I'm gonna close the old stuff, which are the different drawings, so they don't bother me too much. And I'm gonna open level 1 here and then do window tile WT ZA. So I have the C and the drawing here. Okay. So I forgot to actually hide, which is the surface of the terrain. That makes sense. So that's a little bit cleaner. And now I can change the scale. And notice what happens when I change the scale of level 1 presentation here. It's going to be changing automatically the size of the sheet. So this is pretty much the power also of the software, no? So that's the size is huge, obviously. So what we're gonna go is back in the other scale dimensions, like 1/16 will probably make much more sense. Click there. Now be careful when you create a sheet, you have the drawing and this little line. This is basically the sign that mentions what it is, what scale it is. Obviously, the scale doesn't fit. It's not going to be a good size, so we need to take this quite to a lower scale. Let's say 1/32. Okay, that might be the case. It might still be quite big, but it might work. So now we know that 1/32 scale is a bit better. Let's see how it fits into the large panel. I'm going to save that. So 1/32 is what we're using. And I'm going to do the same process again. Just print this drawing. Okay, the section I haven't changed, so sorry for that. Let me go back to the section. Presentation. And we said 1/32. Okay, that's that. And we have two drawings at 1/32. Level 1 presentation, section 1. I'm going to say file, print, PDF. Select views. Just maybe you want to triple check that you're using the same ones. Setup, make sure that things are correct here. Letter size, center zone 100. And then, okay. It's asking you if you want to change that to combine so they become one PDF, but if you want to separate it. Now, level 1 presentation, I'm going to override this one. Say yes, override. And section 1, override. Okay, obviously the section is starting to look good. Just in terms of scale, the plan we knew it wasn't going to fit. I want to do control layout. So this is the entire paper, and that's the plan, no? So if we scroll in, it's not like the most beautiful, I guess, set of drawings. We can do some cleanup here and there, but in general, it's quite clean, no? So maybe what we need to do is do the same, but with a different paper size. So what we could do is file, print, same thing, create the same views, and here we're going to change the letter to tabloid, 17. And everything else. If you want portrait, it's going to be in the center because we had it as landscape before. Vector processing. Okay. Now you want to use the save. I'm going to say no, save it. I'm just going to say okay. And again, I'm going to write it. Make sure those PDFs are not open. and section, write it. Yes or no. I'm just going to do Control L. This is a paper space that tells you it's 1117, so that's the thing. And this is the plan at 1117. So how we would go about this? Well, we have two PDFs. Close all tabs. Go to design. Just make sure that you don't work on a do not print. Maybe you want to drag that somewhere else because that contains all the information. I want to lock it. And then you can just place images here. So let's say turn off, and I want to place the plans over here. Let's say file place, just Control D, and search for the PDF. So I need to kind of look for it. There we go. PDF files. I recommend you have everything carefully named. So otherwise, now here you don't want to do a dragging because you're changing the scale. So you're going to Control C and place it clicking only once. That's the scale. Okay, you're welcome to rotate that one. Rotate, it's okay as long as you know where the north is or not, however you want to organize them. Now that's quite of a big one, so maybe rotating that makes more sense. You can go down in terms of scale, another one. And then you can do Control D for images, section, and click in once. No? So that would be the section. Now they look very bad, but remember that this is just a preview. So if you say high quality, those are, crispy and nice because they're vector based. Okay, so that would be the way. What I'm asking you is to incorporate more data into the Revit, into the InDesign. You can create, some guidelines or create another layer called marks or symbols or whatever it is, and use that to draw the section marks. For example, that could be black, and then say, well, that section is, I think it was right in front here. Press Shift. No. And then text T, and you can say A or something like that. Use the font that you like. Again, you can work with this runners, fonts, and paragraphs that you want. If you want to center, so it's clearly aligned, or you can rotate this, place it here. And then you can do a copy of these two. Right click, transform, and flip vertically. Oops. Flip horizontally. Like that. So that could be a nice detail, kind of very carefully, almost like you care a lot about the section marks. You don't want to influence too much the plan. It is reference, and here another T. You could do section A. That would be in the same font style. It would be, I think I used Calibri, and then you can use space bars or whatever it is, and then scale 1/32 of an inch. Just one. Well, maybe this one is bold, for example. This is the title. And, or maybe you say here plans and whatever scale, that's I don't know. Not all of the plans and sections have to be the same, but that would be the way to go about it. You can just go, for example, now say duplicate detailing, right click rename, can say something like presentation of the large, or you can even mention the scale here with no problem, or detail. And then here, take it to the next level. So it's a quite of a more substantial section. You can do callouts. You can go to view and say callout and say I like this particular area of the project or a particular other area. Callouts are this kind of window to a view. Oops. Select the window and you can actually move these guys around. And what it does when you do a callout is creates as another drawing within, for example, in this case, section, and if it's plan within plant, and it's called detail callout with a double scale view of that particular zone. Okay. Nice. Another thing to think about, I'm going to close this view. It's things that you can do, for example, to open up the roof. I'm going to select wireframe, and I'm going to select one of the models, this one, the roof. And I'm going to use the classes for isolate elements. So I have those two. There's an element called the shaft. This will just go through floors and roofs that it will find through. And it's an invisible type of geometry. I can select some elements here, for example, and it has to be a closed polyline. So that will work. I can even take this one out. Doesn't really matter if it's bigger, as long as it's a closed polyline, say okay. And the way this works is that wherever it crosses the roof, it cuts through it. Okay, so I'm just going to take it right underneath the roof. I can turn off massing inside and notice how that actually creates that opening. I'm going to go back and do that a couple of times. I'm going to do another number of shafts. For example, I can do a pick here. Pick here, and then I'm going to take that out. Pick another one here, for example, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3. I'll close that after. And this one. Close those, otherwise it won't work. And I'm going to take them out, skipping 2. And I'm going to put another one here. And this one is also interesting. So the way this works is that basically you don't necessarily have to use all of the elements on your project, but you can use them in different ways. No? So I'm going to use them now to perforate the roof in different interesting ways. So let me do this one too. So, okay, so that's going to create a, I need to close that. Okay. Take that all the way up. It's going to cut through the roof, and I'm going to take this one up so it doesn't cut the floors. If I don't want that. So now I can go back to reset, save that because it's getting quite heavy. And if I go to hidden line, this is what it did. It did a number of openings. Okay, so I'm going to go visit in graphics and go to the masses and uncheck that. So those are hidden. Okay, so that's something also is going to insert light into the system. I could potentially duplicate the roof and create a kind of a glass sort of roofs there, but I don't mind if it rains a little bit inside. So how does that affect the project as you're moving on? Remember that all of the drawings are being changed, and also that this now it's open, before it was closed, so drawings are being changed as we move forward. So that means that when you're changing those type of things, you need to print this guy again and replace the previous PDF with this one, okay? So in that sense, the scale drawings are more or less taken care of. There's one thing I'll talk in the last video, 2 videos, where I can talk about how we include a simple rendering in grayscale. We know already how we could do an axonometric in different ways, but I'll explain that as well. And then the solar study. I think beyond that, I think it's an issue of organizing your drawings. What is it that you want to tell? How many plans? RCP plans, if you want. How many sections? Longitudinal, etc., and start bringing things into InDesign and naming everything carefully with a scale. If it's a plan, needs a north orientation symbol, etc., etc. So coming soon to the next video.